Well, folks, if you've woke up in Blighty this morning, you've got Piers Morgan and his little lackey demanding everybody stays at home, telling everybody off because they didn't yesterday, telling everybody off like he's some kind of dictator. Piers Morgan used to work for the Daily Mirror. That's Maxwell. That's Epstein. You know, this is where these people come from. Then they bring out Dr. Hilary, the two-bit doctor that got into everybody's minds during the 90s. Giving it the big, stay at home, out there. But yet, he's at work. All his reporters that are reporting back from across country are at work. We're cameramen. They're not distancing. All this is one rule for you and none for them. Yeah, it's like all the NHS staff, frontline, just because they've been given that term frontline, they're safe. They're allowed to be out and about. Police, who are they? Police are a private security force. You know, we pay what? Is it 15% of the council tax? The rest of the police is funded directly by the Crown corporations, which is why they get free drinks at McDonald's. McDonald's is corporate. Yeah. All this charade is being carried out through the body corporate. The corporate operations are the ones that have jumped on this, shut down, thrown a load of rules and regulations into the mix for the customers and staff. The corporations are dancing to this tune. Yeah, and that's a full-on attack against private trade. Everything that's private now is going to be demolished. Yeah, self-employed people, everything is just going to be annihilated. And yes, they've offered 30 pieces of silver, but that 30 pieces of silver is for the big corporations. It's for them to suck on. The tit is there for them. It's not there for me and you. This is how you've got to look at this. You know, they're dishing out all these rules, yet they're not subject to these rules. Because for some reason, they're the chosen ones. They don't get the flu. They're allowed to go out. The reporters can go anywhere they like, telling you to stay home. You know, this is a full-on military takeover. And Boris Johnson is a Zionist. You know, it doesn't matter who'd got in, whether it would have been Corbyn or whether it had been Boris. This would have taken place anyway. It's far easier with Boris, Mr. Right Wing, you know, from the party that privatised the entire nation under Thatcher. And you are believing these people. Now, I know you're not. You're not believing them at all. Just the afraid and the weak and the feeble, they're the ones that are getting panicky about this. So the elderly, they don't know anything else apart from, if you're ill, go to hospital. These millennials, you know, when you remove the critical thought process from a child, they're just full-on emotional little creatures, and that's all they're about, emotion. There's no critical thought going on into anything they're watching on TV. They're not looking into the actual data around this kind of stuff. You know, the coronavirus itself is found in something like 20 conditions as a slight addition to it. So it's a very cleverly well scripted game with the use of the coronavirus. Very well. But just remember this. All your paramedics that are running around, they don't have a test for coronavirus. They don't have a test. There is no test. Yet the TV talks about testing. How are you testing anybody? We don't have a valid test for the coronavirus. We just don't have it. So, what are they going to do in this lockdown? Well, they're going to change everything. You've got to look at the money. They're taking huge pots of money in our name. Our name. This is government playing with our money. And what has Boris said? Okay, we've put £330 billion up of your money. Your money. So they've got your money and they're going to loan it back to you with fees and huge interest payments. And you're going to be yoked to the government. This is about removing all private trade and only allowing crown corporations to operate. And that's if this lockdown at some point is ceased. I can't see that happening. If we don't now make a stand, we're going to lose our nation, and I don't think it'll ever come back. And the plans that they've got, well, Georgia Guidestones tells you everything you need to know. You read the doctrine of these people over the great work of the ages time, so we're talking post-flood. They only have one intention. They want the world for themselves. That means you're not welcome. You're welcome while they can use you to formulate the plan and get you to stay under it. But at the moment, they have no plans whatsoever to release you from this if they do get it in. It's the way it is. That's the way it always is. They talk a lot of shit, drag you in. It never works out, does it? But you're just glad it's over and you're not bothered about the fact that they lied to you. You're not bothered about the fact that they've scammed you. You know. The food banks, again. I mean, I looked at this many, many years ago when they first came out. And it's not in there yet, but you'll get 3 handouts. But before that, you'll have signed intervention orders. What does that mean? You'll get three handouts, and on your fourth, they'll take your children. They'll take your children because you're unfit, you can't provide for your children, and you signed an intervention order to say that. This is what's coming. They've already set all this up. This has already been set up in 2009 under the flu scam that we had back then. Everything they changed in the background is relating to forced vaccinations. And if you refuse, they can whisk you up in under mental health and section you. That's what they set up in 2009. None of you took any notice. Now we're here. This is your nation. The outside belongs to you. It doesn't belong to the crown. It doesn't belong to the Queen. It doesn't belong to the military. And it doesn't belong to the police. The police are impersonating the constabularies. They're a private force on the land. You know, they're enforcing law, but they're not enforcing law. They're enforcing policy directly against the 9 principles of the law enforcement adopted in 1829 in Britain and across the Commonwealth nations. That's law enforcement. It doesn't move out of that, and it's very clear that the only job the police have is to service the law, not policy. Policy is what the government dishes out. The law is qualified in the 10 Commandments. That's the only law we have in the West. Everything else is policy. Policy. Law gives you all the rights, puts you outside and nobody can take that away from you. Policy, if you accept it, gives the banks everything they need. And what do they want? They want you shut down. They want to install the 5G, and then they can really start killing the populations. This 5G is horrendous. And all the symptoms that you'll come from it, it's coronavirus. That's what they've set in. They've set it in your mind now. Blame for what they're about to do. They can kill anybody they feel like. Coronavirus. Do you understand this? Do you understand how this works? Not only that, when they take over these nations under this format, they kill the politically savvy, they kill the intelligent people. And the police and security forces, you know, you've been busy in this last 20 years thinking, oh, my family is safe, you know, got them all in our little hatch. Yes, safe now. But when the boot comes in, those areas where you've got your families become a prison. And you will do as you are told, as a copper or whatever you are, because you've got your family. You know, this is how it is. Then you'll get a foreign raft, a command level. Foreigners dictating to the system that they set up once they get this going. SS, same thing in Germany. The German military in the SS, and he takes over command level. And that's exactly what's going to happen here. So all you numbnuts that think, I'm a copper, I'm a this, you're in for now. You're only there to install the network, get it operational, and then at command level, everything changes. And like I said, you know, these safe havens you think you've got, they become prisons. And you will do what you are told. You will kill Englishmen, Scottishmen, and Welshmen. Why will you do that? Because if you don't kill, they'll kill your children. They'll kill your wife, your grandma. It's called fascism, folks. And they don't change tack. It's the same format they play out wherever you see this going on in the world. Disarm, bang. America, can't disarm America. So the games that they're playing in Iran is to force either China or Russia to hit America with a nuke or multiple nukes. That will change everything in America. You know, this plan has been going on for a very long time, and they're experts at it. They're experts at planning it, and they're experts at carrying out the plans. Especially when the population is so dumbed down, so ignorant, so born idle. You know, it's like, I can't go shopping on a Saturday. I've got to go to 6 shops. It's disgusting. My legs won't take it. We must go to the supermarkets. You know, everything's there in one place. It's just so much easier for us. Well, you've handed the food supply over to the banks. Tesco, Asda, military. Military operations for food control. Outside belongs to you. Remember that. Nobody can tell you to stay in. Unless you're a pussy.